Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first webinar of Education Week 2025. My name is Nicholas Moran. You can see there, you can call me Nick though. And today we'll be discussing and talking about being set for success and some onboarding insights from the BGL Client Success team. As you can see there, I am the Client Success Manager, and what our Client Success team does is what we'll be discussing today, where we sit in the business, how we can best assist you in onboarding to your new BGL products. And yeah, we're really looking forward to today. Just want to say thank you for everyone for making the time this morning. We appreciate you making the time in your busy schedules, and we really hope you get something out of today's webinar. Just a few housekeeping things to start off today. The webinar is being recorded. You'll all be on mute throughout said webinar as a result of that. But don't worry, all attendees will receive an email with a link to the recording following the webinar's completion. Alongside with that link being received, be sure to send this to any of your colleagues that you find this useful for, and this will also be uploaded to our YouTube channel following the webinar's completion. So you can always come back to and refer to anything that was said during the webinar. You'll also see in the Zoom meeting that we've got a Q&A chat box here that you can use to ask any questions throughout the webinar. I'll do my best to try and answer them throughout the session. I can't guarantee that it'll flow too well. So we've got some team members from our training team just sitting in to answer any of those questions that come through. But feel free to ask away, as well as at the end of the session, I'll be sitting here for a bit of Q&A time as well. So feel free to save your questions for the end. As mentioned before, this is the first webinar of BGL's Education Week for 2025. We're doing this back-to-back years now, which is really fantastic. And as we can see, we're running 3 webinars a day. They're going across the entire BGL product suite. So for example, we're covering the onboarding aspect today, which kind of covers a few different softwares at once. But we've got things like our new work papers, we've got our newest products around smart docs and some of the features you have available there, as well as some of the improvements to our existing softwares, such as BGL ID, what's coming next there, CAS 360, Simple Fund 360, the products you know and love. I would highly recommend you register for as many of these webinars as you possibly can. They will be posted to our YouTube channel once again, but even if you can't make it, because you've got that registration link, you'll get that recording after the session and you can watch it in your own time. And hopefully that information in said webinar will be helpful for you. And you can see the link for registering is in the chat right now, thanks to our training team. In today's session, because we sit in a unique aspect of the business where we work with the different products, we'll be covering 3 of these 4 products. So CAS 360, Simple Fund 360, and Simple Invest 360. We currently don't have a onboarding process for smart docs per se in terms of what the client success team does. Fortunately for you though, any new smart docs users, once you buy the product, you get to work directly with our product team. We're looking for lots of insights and lots of improvements. So we figure we'll start with working with the product team, get a nice system established, and then maybe down the future, the client success team will take over the onboarding for that. So in terms of our agenda today, we're going to be discussing a little bit about what the BGL Client Success team does, how we can best assist you in getting you on board to our BGL product suite. And then we're going to go into some more detailed aspects of it. So for example, in Simple Fund and Simple Invest 360, so what you can do in terms of setting up the opening balances for those entities that you have. And then finally, we'll talk about what onboarding to CAS 360 looks like and some of the options you have available to you to get as much data into your product as possible. So a little bit about the team. As mentioned before, I'm Nick. I'm the manager of the client success team. And what our team does at BGL is assists you with moving the data that you have in whatever form that may be, whether that be a competitor software, whether that be an Excel spreadsheets, whether that be on pieces of paper, whatever it may be, our job is to try and move that data as best we can into the BGL products. When you purchase the new product, you will be given what is known as a client success specialist to look after your ticket. Essentially, you will have a dedicated person to assist you in your onboarding journey. So that includes meetings at the start, email correspondence discussing what data we need to best assist you, what we can provide for you, the additional features that we can provide for you, and the additional support that we can give to you throughout your onboarding experience. Although you have a dedicated client success specialist, one of the things that BGL really endorses is a team effort culture where although we have one person looking after your ticket, it's our work collectively. So if that person's away or they're sick or they have some leave, that doesn't mean you're forgotten about. Our team steps up and they will action each other's tickets. We're cross-trained to best assist you as best we can. So you never have to worry about not being looked after if your dedicated client success specialist is away. We'll always have someone there to action your request. We have 7 team members in the team, 2 of which being team leaders, and then myself managing said team. So we've got a really solid foundation to be able to handle those requests. And hopefully, if you haven't onboarded already, we look forward to seeing you soon. So let's get into a little bit of what options you have available to you when setting up the opening balances for Simple Fund 360 and Simple Invest 360. So when you first purchase your product, the first thing that you want to do is set opening balances so that you have the details of the entity so you can start actioning and looking after those entities that you've created. You've got 3 options to be able to do so. One is setting up the opening balances yourself. Number 2 is utilizing the inbuilt opening balances setup service that the client success team has created with the product team. And finally, what are our options when we're moving away from Class Super and coming along to Simple Fund 360? So we'll start with the setting up the opening balances yourself. So this aspect of onboarding your product is naturally more self-driven. We can assist you with providing some insight as to how to set up that data. But the main, I guess, benefit of doing so is familiarizing yourself with the system. If you've never used Simple Fund 360 or Simple Invest 360 before, this can potentially be useful in understanding some of the different screens, like how to add members, such as how to add different accounts. What does the smart matching screen do? How can this allow me to upload reports? It's really great insight as to learning the product from the base. One of the great aspects of our onboarding team is every client receives a complimentary induction training on how to use the software. So this includes some of those useful features we mentioned to help speed up setting up the opening balances yourself. We can also see on screen that I've just shown a little screenshot of the setting up your funds in Simple Fund 360 webinar that we ran a few years ago. So one of the really useful aspects of this is you can follow along in the system with this video to kind of give you a bit of a guide as to how I can set up those funds most efficiently. Because this is self-driven, obviously it's completely free, and it's always just a matter of time as to how much you want to put in. And some of the things that video shows you includes how to add member accounts, adding member balances, adding investment history, and how you can start to go about doing that. And I'm going to show you now, just in the product itself, what that looks like. So what we can do is in Simple Fund 360, we would go to our main Insights dashboard where we can select to add a new entity. We'll select our SMSF, let's say our Education Week, SMSF. You can enter the ABN and TFN if you would like. You'll then get the question, are you entering the opening balances yourself? In which you can toggle this on to say yes. We'll select our date formed, which we might go with, say, 2023, that this fund was created, and our opening balance period, as we can see now, has populated with that same date form date. So we'll select our 2024 financial year. You can also select your lodging party and create said SMSF. Just be sure to fill in the fields with the red asterisks, as they are the required fields. After I do so, I've now created this new entity in Simple Fund 360, and you've got a few different options. We'll ignore this first one because that is what our next feature is. But when you're entering the opening balances yourself, you can see we can start to enter our investments. how we can upload with Smart Docs, import from a PDF, those supported reports to update your transaction lists and your relevant screens, using the data feeds from the CSV files, as well as updating things like the member balances, like the SMSF details if you'd like to update those. So as you click on these sort of options here, you'll go to the relevant screens to give you insights as to how to input this data. And this is where that video can be really useful as to how to add this information as you're going. The one thing I really want to encourage is you're not alone when doing this. Although it may seem a little overwhelming with the different options in entering the opening balances. First of all, you've got your client success specialist. You've got that person that you can reach out to at any time. We work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, Australian Eastern Standard Time. So I can't guarantee we'll reply on the weekends, but we'll be sure to reply to you during those times. If you have any questions about setting up the opening balances, one of the other really useful features, though, is our support team. So we sit 10 meters away from our support team here at BGL. And because of our role within the company, we often get quite a few support questions that we are trained to and answer. But sometimes having that quick access to support can be more beneficial when setting up opening balances. So what you can do is use the live chat support here just by selecting this little icon. You'll have a little pop up here just to give you some insight as to what questions you might want to ask, how to set up the certain feature of the opening balances. Maybe it's the member details that you want to update. You can ask that question in here. And because we operate 9 to 5 Australian Eastern Standard Time, if you reach out within that period, you will receive a response from a person in the live chat within 1 minute of that correspondence. So it's super rapid and a really useful way to get some quick and easy support. If you'd prefer to have a more in-depth discussion, aka with your client success specialist or with someone from support, you can either email the success team that you have, or you can use the phone icon here to log a support call. So let's just say opening balances as our option we would like help with. Maybe the answer wasn't here. So I'm going to log a support call instead, in which you can submit your problem statement, what you need a hand with, and how we can best assist. If you do submit a support call, the first response time is 4 hours. So it's still nice and quick. You can have that. You can still start to work on other things, and we'll have that request ready to go and sent out to us. That's how to enter opening balances yourself, and it is a useful way to familiarize yourself with the software. My personal favorite, though, as to what we think is best for you to utilize is our next feature, which is the utilizing the opening balances setup service. So what this is a project that we were working on last year that essentially streamlines the process of you providing the data to us so that we can action those requests for those conversions as fast as possible. Some of the benefits as to why you would utilize this is we do it for you. So that grunt work of entering the opening balances, don't worry about it. You can palm it off to us and we want to do it. So it's fantastic. One of the other really positive aspects is it is free during your onboarding period. So when you first purchase Simple Fund 360, you will have a 6-month period in which you can submit as many funds or as many entities as you would like to the conversion service, and you do not have to pay a single cent. That's a no-brainer to me. Seems like a great use of time, and it's a really useful feature in terms of getting that data done quickly. Our turnaround time is something we really pride ourselves on. As of right now, it's around that 5 to 6 days in which that data is completed. Sometimes during our busy period, July, August, even around the lodging periods, it can extend around the 7 to 8 days, but we naturally communicate that with you as to what we expect the timeline to be for your funds to be converted. And more importantly, if you feel, no, this is too long, this is too urgent, we're more than happy to support you in doing the opening balances yourself and providing you some more insight so that that can be done quicker on your end. Also, it's a service that you can trust. I gathered some stats before this webinar. In the last 3 months, we have converted over 2,000 entities in Simple Fund and Simple Invest 360, and we have an accuracy of 99.8%, which I'd like to think we're pretty proud of and would love to continue to see grow to get that to 100% one day. Point being, it's something that you can trust and know that, hey, we do our best to look after and we want to get the data right for you. Now, it's all good and well me talking about it. Let's show you how to do it. So we'll go back to Simple Fund 360 here. And we're still in our screen from beforehand where we have created the SMSF. We had a look at what entering investments manually and importing PDFs looks like. But what we want to do is use the opening balances setup service. When I select this option here, I'll be brought to a new prompt where you can start to upload your reports to this screen. So you've got a little checklist on the right-hand side that just lets you know what reports we need to get this conversion done. What you can do is say, yep, I've got all these, no problem whatsoever, and I'm going to upload these to the system here. Let's say this report that I have here, although it isn't actually a report, we'll upload this to our system with the reports, say they're all ticked off, no problem, happy days. And then you'll see down the bottom some additional options, such as how you want us to record the asset handling, as well as the managed portfolios and how you would like them recorded as well. Let's say we want these recorded as underlying assets under fixtures and fittings, and we want to record these as one unit. We'll put in our last finalized financial year. We'll say 2023 for this fund, as well as any additional notes that you may want to add to the system here. Once we click this submit button, this will get sent to us that we've received a conversion request, and you'll see the client success team are currently reviewing requests and will reach out as soon as possible. So what this means is I will show you what that email actually looks like on our end. If I go back to my slideshow here, this is what we receive when you submit that request. This is one I submitted earlier. So we'll see which firm submitted it, who the user was, what the name of the entity is, and we can see here some additional information, such as that record as one unit. If there was any previous software used, any of that information that you've uploaded there, we receive the email in that moment. We also receive the temporary 30-day access invite to your firm. That way we can start converting this data right away, even prior to you even meeting with us. If you want to get onboarded quickly and you want to get that data started, you can submit these requests into the system right then and now. And then once that data is converted, we can then potentially have that meeting with us, have that training session where you can start to use your actual live data and do it alongside with us. So it's really, really useful to get this started early because we can just get it begun even before meeting with us. Although it is a free service for your first 6 months, you may have noticed when we're in the screen itself, if I go back to my fund details here, we'll go to the fund dashboard. It is technically a paid service after that 6 months. It's just in the top of your screen when you do the initial entity setup, it'll say it's $44. So it's $44 as of 2025. That may be subject to change in the future, but for right now, it is $44. In saying that, despite the fact it is a paid service beyond the 6 months, we would like to think we like to play as flexible as possible, especially for our existing clients. So one of the aspects to that is if you have a firm takeover where you do 10, 20, 30, 50 funds, that would obviously be a lot of money. We don't want to charge you for that. So if you're doing a firm takeover, reach out to us, reach out to your account manager. We can organize a free period for you. Might be 1 month, might be 2 months, where all you need to do is submit those conversions into this screen here with the opening balances setup service, and we won't charge you for that either. That is a discussion that we love to have openly with our clients, understand where you're at with your timelines, where we're at with our timelines, to ensure that we have the fairest possible conversion service for you. As mentioned before, you've got this upload additional document. So if we reach out and say, hey, we could use some extra data, please, this is where you can submit that information. If you don't have all the reports, you can still submit this information. All we'll request is that you add something in that additional data section. That way we know, hey, maybe they are missing the trial balance or the general ledger, and we know that maybe not all the data will be converted, and we can adjust how we're doing our conversion to ensure that we can still get as much information for you as a part of your opening balances. If you created a fund already and you wanted to utilize the opening balances setup service and you haven't got around to it, you can also go to the fund details screen here, scroll down to the bottom, and we'll see we have the button here, upload additional documents. And if you haven't even provided anything at all, there'll be a similar button just on the left-hand side where we once again get this little pop-up for you so that you can start to upload that data. Back to our slides now. One of the, I guess, additional features that we provide as a part of our onboarding is if you are coming across from class. We offer an additional data extract as a part of the opening balances. For us to do so, we do require a bit more information, such as the general ledger account movement report, investment income detailed report, distribution reconciliation, and the realized capital gains report. But if we're able to get this information from you, then we'll be able to get things like the investment history, the member history, the income and expenses history, and more as a part of your conversion. In terms of how you can do that and how you can get that information is also in the upload opening balances screen. So if I go back to my main screen here, and we'll create a new fund. We can do, once again, our same date from before, and we'll select our 2024 financial year. You'll also notice that not just for SMSFs, but if you are using Simple Invest 360, we've streamlined it all in the one place. So we can select trust, company, individual, and you'll just see our dashboard is now just changed to Simple Invest 360, and the same principle applies. It will all go to us, that same email, all within the same workflow. So we're creating our SMSF once more. We want to go to the opening balances setup service. And we can now see if you are previously using Class Super, here is the historical data extraction instructions. So it's inbuilt into the system for you that you can follow along with so that we can get that information for you. If you have any questions about any of our processes at all, or maybe you've got something beyond the scope of what our typical conversion does, be sure to reach out to us. Ask the question. We're always looking for new ideas as to what data we can upload for you. Be sure to ask the question. It always gives us the chance to have a look. So with the opening balances completed, here's sort of the summary of those and some of the benefits to each of them. So if you're setting it up yourself, it's obviously completely free. You can start to familiarize yourself with the software, and client success and support will always assist you along the way. My personal favorite, the opening balances setup service. We set up the fund for you, saves you so much time. It is a quick turnaround time, that 5 to 6 business days, sometimes up to 7, and will naturally tell you if it goes beyond that. Conversion accuracy, something we're very proud of, and naturally free during that 6-month onboarding period and those firm takeovers. All we need is that initial discussion. Ask the question. We're always happy to have your insight. And finally, if you are moving from class, we will require some additional data, but that also means that we can get additional data for you. So it's a no-brainer to provide that additional information if you can. Let's move on to CAS 360 now and some of the options that we have available to you as a part of onboarding. So when we onboard to CAS 360, we do a few different things. The first and main one is importing the companies for you. So what that initially looks like is going into CAS 360 itself and going to our Getting Started tab and importing data. We will walk you through in an initial call how to set up this information, adding your agent name, your address line, the suburb, and then adding things like the registered agent, the edge credentials, and all those details. Once those edge credentials are connected, what we essentially do is we say, you sit back and relax, we'll look after this for you. We'll go to the Prepare Agent Form button, request an RA61, and import the data from this report. ASIC does limit us to 1,000 companies a day when we are importing. So if you have less than 1,000 companies, we typically get this done within a 24-hour period. Obviously, if it's at 800 to 900, it will take that long. If it's around 25 to 50 companies, it will take us 15 minutes. Super quick. And we do that for you. So you don't need to sit in here, you don't need to watch it. We will look after that for you as a part of your initial onboarding experience. Once your companies are imported into CAS 360, we naturally have all that data from ASIC, but we want to assist you as best we can in uploading additional information for you. Some of the tools that we have access to as a part of the client success team are things like updating contacts, updating company contacts, adjusting your entire system to say proper casing or capitalized casing, and different options as well. For example, when your contacts are imported from ASIC, there's no email information, there's no mobile data. That's not information ASIC has. Most of the time, you as your firm already have that information on hand, and we're happy to upload that for you. I've prepared a contact spreadsheet from earlier where I've done an extract of all our contacts sitting in this particular license. And I can see here that some of the information's been added, but we're also missing a little bit. So let's just say I want to add success@bglcorp.com.au for this individual here, and we'll add the BGL number whilst we're at it. By providing this information in this spreadsheet, saving that, and sending it back to us, we can then upload this to your CAS 360 license to then bulk update your system so that this information is now sitting there. So as we can see, we've got lots of different contacts in here that you can upload that data to. That's just email and mobiles. If you've got the director IDs, they can be uploaded. If you want to add, say, your casual name. So for example, here, I prefer to go by Nick. So I might put Nick here as my casual name. That way, when I use the merge field code casual name, it's going to pick up that for that more personal relationship that you have with your clients. One of the other really important aspects is when you import from ASIC, ASIC stores the first name of your clients as both the first and middle name. So it'll have, say, here, Anthony Thomas would be in the first name field and Johnston in the surname. Now, that's fine in terms of how your data is recorded in CAS, but it may influence how the merge field codes are shown. Another thing you can do, split the column up, add it to the middle name field, and that way it's all submitted nicely so you know exactly what's going to be sitting in which field so that your data looks good for when you're sending it out to your clients. This is just one example of that contact spreadsheet upload. As mentioned before, if you've got company contacts like a billing person that it needs to go to a separate account, a different signing contact, we can bulk upload that. As we can see in this license, we've got some companies that are proper casing and capital casing. You want that uniform? We can do that for you. We do trust uploads. There's all sorts of spreadsheets and data that we can assist. All you have to do is ask. Even if the client success team themselves can't assist with the upload of data, we sit in a really good position of the company of where we are facilitators. We can go to the AMs, we can go to the product team, we can go to support, and we can get that help that we need to best facilitate looking after your onboarding experience. As a part of your onboarding as well, we discuss integrations. So maybe you're an XPM user and you don't need the contact spreadsheet, and instead you want to have that integration linked. We go through that with you. When's the best time to set it up? How long does it take to get set up? Even if it's not practice management, could be something like digital signing or document management. We have a good understanding as to how our integrations work, who's responsible for looking after that as well. So for example, we have an open API. A lot of our integration partners, the ones that built that, we know who has that open API, who created it, and who is the best to talk to. Is it best to talk to BGL? Do we have contacts at, say, Lightyear or ASUS or FuseSign that we can provide that information for so that you can best get your integration sorted as fast as possible. And finally, we have the complimentary training. So all CAS Australia clients will receive a complimentary training. Singapore and New Zealand clients, although this isn't as tailored for you guys, you also get a complimentary training. How good. That training typically goes for 50 minutes to an hour, and it is also personalized to you. So we'll ask you before the session what it looks like, what information you'd like covered, but we can also adjust the main content of it is, in the sense of, would you prefer a Q&A? Would you prefer to have a week of practice, have a bit of self-learning with Kaz, and then having a session with us? Do you want to have the session first prior to even being onboarded so you have a better understanding? We always want to personalize your trainings to you that best suit your firm. So be sure to communicate with us. We'll always communicate with you to find the best onboarding experience to suit your firm. Similar to when we are moving from class, we also have an additional service as a part of moving from Now Infinity. So some of the things that we can extract as a part of that service includes things like director IDs, company contacts, the beneficial owners. So when we import from ASIC, we only have the RA72 beneficial owner. We don't know who it is. If you give us the information of who the beneficial owner is, we'll add it for you. And then the big one is the documents and trusts. So your documents that have been stored in Now Infinity in the past can now be stored in your document screen of CAS 360, and we can rebuild your trust however they're stored in Now Infinity, get that trust extract so that we can then use our trust import spreadsheet, essentially rebuild those trusts and upload them into CAS 360 as if nothing's changed. We want to facilitate this as easily as possible. So what happens during your onboarding when moving from NI, it doesn't affect you at all. We sit in the background. We're the ones doing it. You can still process your clients. You can still look after your annual reviews. The system is connected. This is all just additional stuff that we do on the back end whilst your onboarding is ongoing. For existing clients, you're not excluded to any of this. If you have done a firm takeover and you want to import companies, let us know. We'll sit in the license and we'll import the companies for you. If you've taken over a firm that was previously using NI, this is available to you. You can reach out, you can ask, and we will gladly get that information for you for those companies that you've recently acquired. We don't exclude it to just our onboarding clients. We want this to be for our existing and moving forward customers as well. At the same time, if you are moving, say, doing a firm takeover from one CAS 360 license to another, we're also the team that handles company transfers. All we require is authorization from the account owner of each license to provide you with the necessary requirements to move that data from one CAS 360 license to another. Once we have that authorization, we're given the all clear and we'll do that company transfer within 24 hours. It's super easy for us to do. We're all more than happy to do as many as possible. If you want to do little batches of them, if you want to do it all in one go, we're more than happy to do. And for some of you that are the account owners of multiple licenses, one authorization is all we need to move that data from one CAS 360 license to another. Just be sure to email success@bglcorp.com.au. So, to wrap things up with our final comments, if you are onboarding multiple products at the same time, no problem at all. You might have different client success specialists, you might have the same one, but don't feel as if you can't onboard more than one at a time. Our systems are integrated intentionally so that we can get you on board as fast as possible, but also so that the data is useful in each of those licenses. We always want to look to personalize onboarding for you. If you're busy, if you've got a busy period coming up and you think, you know what, let's maybe wait a week or two, we can do that. We provide you insights as to previous experience we've had with other clients, what might work best for a similar size firm for you. We always want to personalize it so that it provides you with the onboarding experience that you want out of it. We're always looking for new solutions. If you have data that isn't a part of our typical process, be sure to ask us. We will always try and find new solutions, try and get that data in for you. Once again, we sit in a really great spot within the company to speak to all the product teams and discuss those features moving forward, as well as the fact you always have support. Yes, you have your dedicated client success specialist, but as shown before, you've got the support team. We sit just across from them. We chat all the time. Sometimes we look after their questions. They look after our questions. It's a really great team dynamic, and we're always willing to help out.